Hey, good people. Here is Anja and Matej, and we are like Glivars in our podcast with a very special topic and a special guest. Today we have Dragoljub Blagojević, who has been a butcher himself, so he killed animals as well for a living, and now he's a vegan and an activist. So we're very happy to have him here today, and we can't wait to ask our questions.
So Dragoljub is coming from Serbia, although he is living in Slovenia, so we know each other for quite some time. And I must say that he's an amazing activist, and this transformation is going to blow your mind, because he became slaughterhouse, not worker, but he became slaughtering animals when he was 14. So let's go to the base of the problem. Let's say the problem. How did this start, Dragoljub? First of all, how are you today, by the way?
I'm quite fine. A little bit tired, but I'm fine. It's okay.
Good.
I'm currently in Serbia, so things are different here, so I have to get used to it.
Cool.
So how they started with butchering, or what you're asking?
But you know what? Let's go maybe to complete beginning. For example, how do you remember your childhood in relation to animals? Because you had animals at home from the childhood, and then you started killing them at 14. But even before that, how did you feel about animals, and how was this relation towards them?
So yes, my family had a farm. So what happened in that, really, I was working a lot around them, which means I learned to kind of nurture them, spend time with them, sleep with them, even around, travel with them, and you can develop a lot of connection there with animals, because they are basically 80% of your socialization. So that was an easy life, I can say.
So you mean you really connected with animals when you were younger? And what do you mean by that, connecting with them? How did you connect with animals? In which way?
Well, I can say that I like a kid that we didn't have any neighbors, so I was playing with animals a lot. For example, I had a fight with chickens, male chicken. How to say? I forgot. Yeah, with the rooster I had a fight. I learned, to run with the horses. I was sleeping next to the cow, sitting where the cows are like big dogs, basically. They are very gentle beings, like truly gentle. Even when they get small ones, they are even more gentle. And the small ones are really playful. You can do a lot. You can run with them, you can play with them, you can jump, you can fight with them. With small lambs, with small lambs, when they came to the world, usually if they have more than one, they throw them away, the mothers. They just don't want to be them. They want to nurture only one. So basically what we do is we take, or there's not gonna nurture enough, they both are weak. So we take them into our house through like ritual, living with us in the house.
Yeah.
And we were giving them milk, we are feeding them, they were like our babies.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually develop quite strong attachment to us. They are not afraid at all. They are playing with you. You can sit and they will jump on your knee on your knees and gonna go sleep mode.
Nice.
So there's a lot of connection. There's really a lot of experiences. I can go on and on with that, really.
Just one more thing, because we were talking about childhood now, because I believe that most people, when we are kids, we really connect with animals. We see how playful they are. We can connect easily because they are like us, they like to explore, they like to feel things, they like to, research and so on. And what happens later? What would you say? Because you started killing animals when you were 14, right? How did this happen? Because you were still a kid.
Actually, it is normal in Bosnia, my father was not a good killer, let's say like that, and he wanted me to do it, or my mother. So when one of the mother didn't want, so this started with me. But I started a little before, when I was like a shepherd. I was working for some months like a shepherd, and like learning there. I have one owner who was teaching me how to butcher them and slaughter them. That's how it started. And afterwards, of course, I was learning to do that also at our farm.
You said that you had to kill the animals when your father didn't want to. Did I understand
Yes.
this correctly? Why didn't he want to?
Yeah, well, first of all, he was afraid. He was like, he started panicking most of the time, and he was like, his hands started to really shake a lot, and he didn't have I can say that easily now. He didn't have a heart to do it. Even today, he has said to us, he never had a heart to do that. It was really hard for him, so he didn't want. So basically, just push that on me, on my mother.
And how did he convince you? Because did you want to do it, or you just had to do it because he couldn't do it, your mom couldn't do it? How this happened?
Well, I think the conviction in part is there, but also, you wanted to be strong for the family, and you should kind of wanted to help, and to be a normal like everyone else. If normal killing was considered truly normal, that's the way how we lived. This is things how to happen. Like, so kind of like a went with the tradition idea that if I can't kill animal, I'm really weak man. So this is one of the options, I think, why I did that, why I started doing that, if we can say.
It's actually insane. No? It's something what we say very often. You're not man enough if you don't eat meat or if you don't kill an animal. When it's just like then a lack of empathy actually when you do this, and doesn't have anything to do with being a man. Do you remember when the animal that you killed the first time? Like what animal was that?
Lamb.
A lamb. And how did you
Yes.
feel when you killed the lamb that you played before and had so much fun with?
Actually, that lamb was not mine. It was from the owner where I was doing occasionally like a shepherd. So I didn't have any emotional connection to them. But still, I was looking at them like a children. Because their lambs are the best, the closest child to the human child that you can say. They laugh, and it was truly sad moment, I can say. But I consider myself, I have to do it. That this is the way that has to be. So you just kind of close my mind and do it, and that's horrible. You cannot imagine how to kill something that you see like a kid. You see the light there before a few seconds, and the tranquil thing is that they don't fight. They are so used to play with people, and they used to it that they are a second parent to them, or even in a lot of cases, even if only one. They don't fight back. When you throw them on the ground, they just freeze, because when you throw the lamb on the ground, he think that you're gonna lie with him or scratch him or something, but they didn't even fight back. Most of them don't.
Drago, before you mentioned that your father was not a good killer and so on. I mean, do you have to be a good? What does it mean being a good killer or bad killer, or what do you mean by that?
Well, technically looking, you have to be very fast with your hands. You have to really be precise. Otherwise, if you're not precise, that means that the animal will die quite slow death. And even people who look doing that all life are scared of that. They start panicking when they see, oh, I missed the heart, or I missed the throat, I didn't cut the properly. They hear screaming. They can't do it. So people that learn the techniques, and you have to have very precise and cold hand, cold mind to do that. And if you're scared, you have fear, you're definitely gonna miss the heart, or you're gonna you will cut wrongly. You slit the throat wrongly, and they will live like in a few minutes at least, and they will scream, and if nobody can handle that properly, truly.
It's insane, actually. No. I remember that you told me today that you worked as well in bigger slaughterhouses, no? And then in your family farm. How did that happen? Since you didn't like what you did, how did you go from family farm to a factory slaughterhouse?
Well, actually, not that I did. I can say I didn't like it, but I consider myself I have certain talent, and I would consider myself being strong to do that enough man, and and my family put me in the food production primary school, secondary school, and my first practice when they were choosing where to go, they put me in the butcher. And my father already told we go to butcher because we know the village, this butcher house. And I went to the butcher practice, and the school signed this contract and they sent me there to give twice, 3 times a week, 2 times a week, I think. But I did also weekends because of I wanted to earn something like a kid. So I basically worked like from 3 to 5 days in a week there, like 15. Back then I was already 15.
And you said that you really had hard time to kill this first lamb, right? Because he was like a kid, and you felt it like this is a kid, and it is a kid. But how did you get
Overcome
used to it
that?
in a way? Or sorry,
How I overcome it? Well, with every animal that you kill, you kind of start dissociate with yourself and your feelings, trying to push them away. You don't think about it. Stop. I remember my butcher mentor told me, "Is that just don't think about it. Just stop thinking. Stop thinking. Don't look in the eyes." That's a horrible thing because he told me don't look at the eyes. Don't look at the eyes in the butcher house.
why not? Why not? Why not, Drago?
Well, I think the butcher that was teaching me also had his hand in turning into veganism, because he was loving animals. He played with the dog in the front. He feed the dog in the front of the butcher house. He loved animals, but he always telling, "This is what I have to do for my family." And when you look in the eyes, you cannot see. It's the same thing that you see in a dog in the front of the butcher house. You see the same life. You see the same happiness, same desire that want to live and have some joy and play. So that's why I never look in the eyes. Don't think about it because you got mad or you're gonna become psycho. You don't have a lot of ways to finish there.
Sorry.
During the beginning of Corona, I lost my job and I started working in Mercator night already, and butcher one was doing like not butcher, but the meat shop working guy. He know I'm vegan, and every time he come to me to say that meat is horrible, he could never kill the animal. This is quite normal thing to think. They cannot. This is not natural like we think it is. I live in a farm. I see happy animals. I see all of these things. Nobody could kill with easy hand and smiling face. It is. You have to be truly psycho for that. You have to have the hard word psycho, but you have to lose quite a big part of yourself, and that's horrible. That probably make you kind of something that I can say is psychotic about. But yeah, this is you have to dissociate, and it's what I did slowly by time to become help support the family and living in a farm. This is a normal thing, tradition. This is the food chain and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy heartbreaking. Actually, while you're talking, I have tears rolling up my eyes, and I'm used to watch slaughterhouse footage and dying animals in my work for the animals, but just hearing you talk about it is really emotional. So what do you think that social pressure played as a role in the whole game of you killing animals? Like,
of course, it played a bigger role because we already predefined. It did predefine what we eat, what we do, how we should act. Like I said, I was not a man. I was weak if I don't do that. If I go to school, when I stopped doing this, and I will not be a butcher anymore. I went back to my school and I started being, working in the bakeries. And I'm a professor even say that, that you are very weak, you are weak-minded, this is the good job to do. So there's a lot of social pressure, even for a mother, I think, if I remember correctly. She at that time crying, how to say, cry baby, if I can.
Yeah.
And I get it also for my brothers and my family regularly for quite a long time before I left home. So there's a big role, yeah. There's a big role there.
So to be able to not participate in this crazy violence, you need to be fucking strong, huh? Because the society is so strong. Because most of the people, like you said before, would never kill an animal themselves. Is that what you said, right?
Yeah, even like there's such idea also to hunt. Okay, I will not kill like in the butcher house, raise the animal, but I also know the hunters. The hunters also hate to kill a lot of animals. I remember a hunter one from the village said, I will kill one animal and let's stop. Even they don't enjoy properly. Like, it doesn't look natural to me. And I learned in my life that associating a lot with these people, and even in activism, when I'm doing this, I meet, they are butchering, they come in cubes. And they say, I understand. I saw, even the ones who work in the market shops, in the big markets or small, they also say, I will never kill. This is a horrible thing to think. Even the meat, looking at the meat in front of me, is not pleasant in the end of the day.
But before you said the hunters and like the factory slaughter place, one kills the happy animals, the so-called happy animals, and in one, like these already abused animals from the big farms arrive and are killed. Do you see a difference in killing a happy animal or an animal that has been imprisoned in the whole life? Like, do they act differently when they get killed, or is there any difference?
Well, okay, if I consider, if you make only small difference here, I mean, if you take an animal that live happily, if you can say that, there's not truly freedom there. But I consider we really have a lot of cow has a lot of freedom. Jump around. Pig never had that. It's not happening. Like I can only think about, when I think of farm animals, I can only think about horses and cows. If you take horses and cows, if they live happily their life and had a freedom, when they, I felt much harder than taking that life than the life from the cow or horse that were grown up in the closed space and already destroyed personality, already destroyed. You already full of fear, already full of of without life, with emptiness, full of emptiness. I can say that. But the cow and the horse that live happily, regardless, we're gonna kill him. Regardless, we're gonna do it at home, or we're gonna do it at butcher house. It is still horrible act. For me, much worse, much worse, because you are taking life that has already some treasure in it.
Someone
it's
told me,
different.
sorry. Another butcher that I know here from Switzerland, he told me that the tortured animals, like from big farms, they are in a way resignated. In a way, they don't even fight so much back because they're just like already so broken inside, and that the happy animals, in a way, they try to fight their lives. I don't know. Did you see this?
A lot. This is why I different between them in the sense of killing. Otherwise, the same soul. I mean, the same life. I always say life. You're taking life basically, but there is some life that's already broken. When you sometimes get the pigs and you get the lambs already that are broken, and that you have that life kind of, you feel, sometimes you feel like you are helping them with killing. It's like horrible to say that, but some animals, even the horses, the old horses, you feel like it has to be it because they are tortured already. They maybe live all happy life, but in the end of life, when they become old, they are they break them with just feed them with hormones and stuff just to become good meat. So from in the sense of killing, in sense of killing alone, it's harder, it's harder to kill happy animals. It really take a life there, and a happy long time lost it, and they don't have anything in themselves, rather than just being alive. Look like that, at least. I'm not sure.
When you're talking about this, I'm just thinking about billions of animals that are slaughtered every year. And when we talk about this, there's no emotion attached to these billions and billions, because it's such a big number that we cannot even comprehend. But if you think about every individual animal that you are facing, if you're a butcher, right? Every single being that wants to live, this is individual, like you and me, or Anya, or who is watching this video, And this is so fucking hard to comprehend that if you only for a second can get into this perspective that you are this animal, that you are the victim. I don't know how to really understand why people pay for this nonsense. I mean, I couldn't even begin to talk about this. Yeah.
I really started to use in the beginning of my activism in the cubes, and whenever I talk to people, in that if the slaughterhouse had a glass walls, many people will be vegans. They stop eating meat, at least primarily, because many people have good heart. This is what and only thing that you need to, activism, you have to come at the point that they start thinking with their heart, not with the ration. That they don't start defending themselves. They already know. Just need to talk about this. You have to start talking about looking at the eyes of animals. Or when you eat your burger and you eat your food that is meat, your schnitzel, whatever, you just need to think about this eyes, think about this person's life that was behind that. And it's easy to be vegan. It's very natural. It's very natural to consider. But people, for some reason, this tradition and ideas and conception about life is so much impregnated. They don't want to go out of the comfort zone. But it's easy. Actually, it's quite easy when you talk to people to come to this point of understanding, I think. At least for me.
You know what is funny? That when you were talking before, that when butcher come to a cube, this is example when we show slaughterhouse footage to people who walk by. When a butcher comes there, he knows and he understands. When you have a butcher in Mercator, when you work in this store, right? He comes to you and says, you know what, this is unnatural, this is unhealthy, we shouldn't do this and so on. But when you go online, or when you go to, I don't know, with friends and so on, they're the most loud. The loudest people against veganism are people who have no idea what's happening in the slaughterhouse. Would you agree on that?
People defend their identity. It's always the butchers and meat workers, they start with I really with you. I'm 100% with you. But there's my life. This is who I am. Who am I? So basically, this is not defend. They don't talk about me. They don't talk about slaughtering. They talk about their identity. This is who I killing animal. This is who I eating animal. This is who people identify themselves with the tradition, and they defend their identity, because that means if they change the identity, in the sense they will have to do a lot of change, and this is uncomfortable. They're fighting against this. They're fighting, and also, there is other issues there that can appear. People just want to be rude and be playful. We know Earthling Ed, that was the big chicken meat defender. He was attacking vegan all the time online. He probably felt a lot of guilt. He saw animal dying and he felt guilt there. So the most part feeling guilty is also representing himself like a rude person defending himself while I'm eating meat. Otherwise, I have to see myself and my guilt and my. They are loud, but they are probably most the best suited one to become vegans. I can say.
But as well, when it comes to slaughterhouse workers, I mean, as you said, they go through a lot of trauma. They kill so many animals. They see so much violence and participate in it. Would you agree that most slaughterhouse workers have PTSD, like post-traumatic traumas, and go to work with a lot of alcohol because otherwise they cannot take it?
PTSD is a hard word. I can say if you say that their trauma become their personality, okay. But generally, the people learn to mute themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see a lot of butchers to start drinking, not in my village, nor I heard a lot about them. But definitely influenced by personality, they become emotionally more expressed and harder to express themselves. This is what I noticed in my life. Even later being activist, because I started activism quite early, like 16, 17 years. And yeah, they have to fight with a lot. They really have to fight with themselves to become something like that. It's simply not natural to see so much blood in day. Like I kill like at least 50 pigs, at least 50 animals per day. You have the electric shot, you have all of this. You can kill it's a lot of blood, a lot of violence is happening there. You really have to. They really have to kill a big part of themselves to make that. How they run from their private lives is hard to know. They can run in many things. And I say, if you think like that, trauma become their personality and their identity in some sense, become very big part of them.
Drago, let's explain to people who are the most loud, usually against veganism, how does this happen? You're there on the line. You have pigs, you have sheep, cows, whatever, I don't know which animal, and you have to slaughter. How does it happen? What do you have to do? Can you just tell us the process in short?
Well, depends the size of the animal. If you look at lambs, basically you have something like big stick with a rope, and you put around the neck to hold them, and you throw them on the ground, and you just slowly come to you step on them, and cut the throat. This is the lamb. You just need to really forcefully, hold them with this and step on them. They don't show, and you just cut the throat. This is like few seconds. Sound like a lot of work, but it's actually a few seconds. And you do this one after another. Each other they look each other when this is happening, and they start screaming. They start running. Or they take one by one. If you take a pig, usually they are quite more aggressive and stronger, so you use electric shock for them. So this like you wrap around them. I don't know how to call it in English. You electroshock them, and they just fall down on the ground. They cannot move. You just slowly come to them. You can put the knife directly to the heart from the neck, and they just die almost immediately if you don't miss the heart. If you miss the heart, that heart, because immediately they're gonna put them up, tie them up and put on the line there, and then they start cutting them. And if that happens when you're alive, that's horrible. That's pretty hard. And if I think a little bit, when I was a beginner, I missed the heart quite many times. And that's, you see the pig being taking their inner organs while they're half alive. That's slow, painful death. Horrible. And the cows and the bigger pigs, you have some small gun, something like a gun with a bullet that you do directly in their head. Sometimes when the gun doesn't work, you use a heavy hammer that you really need to give in a hard kick in their head with that to put them out of conscious, so you can come close to them and cut their throat, because they cannot come to the heart directly. You have to cut the throat. With the cows, it's horrible. The cows never die slowly. You can cut the throat, but cows will need time. Even if you start hanging them up and machine lift them up, they're at least, it took time that they bleed out, and it's horrible to look. You really have to turn your head on side. Even the butchers, they don't look. They don't look. So this is this animal. The horses, I know they just tie them up on the four-sided, and when they look, you lift up their head a little bit, and you got with a fast move of your knife, you can cut their throat, and they die very quickly because of the thin neck, and the arteries are very close to the front of the neck, and they bleed out very fast. And the happy killing, I mean, it is basically the same. You just do it on a bright day. That's it. Basically, you still kill the same way.
But Dragoljub, there are many people when they defend eating animal products, they say, yeah, but I only eat animal products from animals that have been killed humanely.
Well, I heard that
Is
often.
there something like a humane slaughter out there? I mean, if someone knows, then you.
Never saw that in my life. I don't. I'm always fascinated with this answer. It's like, what? How did you came up with that? I mean, certainly, what do you think? What do you think in your head to think the slaughter is a humane thing to do? Because thinking about cutting someone's throat, looking them dying, very slow, painful death. Like when we talk about humane, there's nothing humane in this. Even you don't die so quickly. Your life doesn't go so quickly.
So
I don't know how these people. I got always astonished by this argument. But my counter argument is: do you really think like that? Something like, is it like a humane killing? What do you think? What do you think? How they feel when you cut their throat? What do you think? What happened when you stab their heart? So nobody really hold long that argument in any debate. Nobody. But they write a lot about that. I see the comment. They write that I eat the humane. You cannot find that. Even the kosher is for me brutal. Kosher is the very slow, painful death in the end. They say it's painless and fast, but no, you.
Yeah, who says that? The victim?
Well, so I don't believe on humane death, on halal. I saw halal, I saw kosher, I saw all of these things. I had really good hand for killing, and nothing humane there. You cannot take any life on humane way. No one who want to live can die in humane life, even if nobody really. I don't see point to that.
Okay, let's somehow move on, because later on you decided to stop killing animals, right?
Yes.
Somehow it happened. Tell us more about that.
I was staying only for 2 months there. It just took me 2 months, and over the second month I was like, I really don't like this, and I already had this very strong guilt feeling just before me coming in the few months before coming in the butcher and slaughterhouse. Problem is that I grew up with a lot of, like I said, we grew up with a lot of animals, and we have these lambs that I basically bring to the earth. Really, you have to help in the middle of the night when they're coming out. You have to be there, and I feed a lot of them. I play with a lot of them. I really had beautiful time with them. You really see different personality. You have 7 of them, and all the 7 are different. You can give easy names. So I had a lot of attachment there. They're very special. They were kids in every sense, and they trusted you. When you go out, they will start rushing towards you. There's some kind of some sort of happiness in the lab that you can only see in the child. And yeah, then we and that's, I think we took these animals together with these shepherds that I was already being, and they were all everything we had together. And then on the normal Fridays, I forgot Thursday, some Muslims came, and they have Bayram or whatever, some Muslim holiday, and they said they need young lambs, and they choose exactly the one that that were mine, that were basically that I care for, and I had to do it. They said tomorrow, today afternoon, I think it was, or anyway, let's say today the afternoon we'll come pick them up, already butchered and cleaned, only meat. So for me that was quite a big turning point. They, like I said, I wrote before, they didn't even fight back. They didn't. They were trusting me. And then I butchered them quite easily. Then I can saw the last ones. They were like shocked. They start understanding what's happening. Yeah, it was. I was asking me why am I doing this? What's wrong with me at the time? I can't do this. They were like truly my friends. So on that basis, it was a lot of contemplation inside me afterwards. When I did that, killed them, and it felt really heavy on my chest doing that, and kind of you will not see your friends anymore. You will not play anymore with them. So after when I went butchering, I already came with this sense of pain and guilt in myself, and seeing all these animals, and at least my butcher said to me, "Don't look in the eyes. I'm rebellious. I want to be strong. I have a thought maybe I should become stronger." And I didn't ignore. I'm thinking if I look in the eyes during the killing or anything, I will become more cold and stronger, and that will become more natural. I didn't understand that was suppressive. I didn't understand my cognitive happening. So more and more I saw the terrors in the animals. I saw the life in the happy animals coming there with their owners, petting them and smiling at them and hugging them, saying them bye. And the other animals that you see them, like you said, horses that you see broken, or horses that they are so proud. You can see there's such a huge personality in them, like such a beauty, and you have to. It's hard, and I start. I start understanding that I don't want to do that, and my whole had a problem because behind every meat that I saw them. The lamp and everything again. Never, I said to myself, never. This. So like that, the same way, my father stopped eating rabbits. Because one rabbit, when he started killing him, started crying and screaming, like he said, never gonna have rabbits again. So this is how I stopped. It's actually not so hard when you start thinking about it.
So let me be clear that this industry, this activity that humanity is after, killing animals, eating them and so on, is not violent only towards animals, right? Because this sounds a lot like violence towards people, slaughterhouse workers, people who need to do this in a way to survive or to feed their families or whatever. This is perceived like that. Do you think, because I know that you're studying psychology, right? Psychotherapy and so on. Psychotherapy, yes. How does this affect human brain? Because we have in one side people who believe this is okay, although they have no idea what's happening, zero idea, even though they heard. And on the other side, they have people like you, like butchers, who has these traumas, in their lives. And what would you say? How invasive, how violent this is towards people as well?
But then, toward their inner lives, as I said, like I said, they do a lot of dissociation, from the moment, from their feelings, and to work like that, they really have to suppress a big part of their natural state. And if you look correctly, they can't truly function. And if you cannot truly function with strong cognitive basis in life, if you suppress part of yourself, if you suppress part of yourself that love animals, you can really suppress really authentic part of yourself. And this big part of yourself, suppressing parts of yourself, mean that you live in one sense in illusion of who you are, and you don't truly live yourself, live a lie about who you are. And when I look myself being at that, you become more violent because you have so much of the pain inside self, so much suppression happening inside, you become violent. You will become more and more harder to deal with. And I believe that in a sense, it is the violence to the butchers to just work, take violence on themselves, to choose to work like that. I understand that some people work there for all lives, and young people don't decide that anymore. Very hard to find a butcher today. I understand they're working there for long. They're a very big part of their survival skills. But there are all the choice if you decide what is right. But yeah, they destroy a big part of their personality. Dissociation is really the big one in how we deal with life. We lose big part of ourselves. We become closed. We're not really emotionally capable anymore if we dissociate. We cannot have relationships anymore. We cannot talk about our pains, about our inner worlds. So yeah, I can say that there is a certain violence happening there toward the butchers.
It's really sad, no? And I think that most of these people would prefer way more to plant veggies than to kill animals. So yeah, I can imagine that must be terrible to go through this and to just not be who you are. But sorry, you want to say something?
You will be fascinated. The butchers in our slaughterhouse eat only veggies most of the time.
Really?
Because we had kitchen, and the lady who cooked for us cooked veggies. We didn't really truly eat meat. We were already full of that, and we saw too much. Kind of, it's hard to explain, but we eat a lot of veggies. We're healthy there.
Yeah, they see so many dead bodies that they just cannot do it when they eat them.
No.
But what do you think, Dragolube? Is it many people say, yeah, but I love animals, but I can still eat them? What do you think about this statement? As we heard, it's so violent. No, what's happening to them?
Well, let's say this is not really true statement. People don't see themselves, and they don't truly think about that so much. They love animals, but they don't think about their food choices. So when they say I love animals, but I eat meat, that's normal thing. They just didn't consider it deep enough. Like I said, if these people are good, because when we start talking about their love, and usually with these people, when I get this kind of answer, I start talking about their love about animals, what they like about animals. They like the dog, they like the horses, the pride of the horses, they like the strange sense of personality in the cats, the playfulness of the dog, this. You start talking about this and developing awareness inside them, and in one point you change the animal. You say, what about cow? Does cow have this? If you meet the cow, do you think you're gonna love her? Can you think that there is a same life like in your animal that you like love, you say, and in these animals? So these people are very grateful to talk with. I just think they really don't go deep enough in themselves, and they're really bonded their part of personality. They are afraid they'll be attacked. They will have to change so much, and they like the meat. They like the taste. They are lost. What are I gonna eat without meat? many parts are there. So this argument I like because I can very quickly connect with empathy with them, asking what they love about animals, and just mirror that to other animals that they eat.
We're again back at social pressure. And they're afraid to, if I go vegan, I get problems at home, or
Oh yeah. Especially in my countries, the vegans have a lot of problems. I mean, I became vegetarian when I stopped eating meat when I was like 15. My mother was like, "What the hell?" My mother thinking this famous say her like, "Why didn't if you start drinking alcohol, if you start taking drugs or something like that, I don't know what to do with you, but you become vegetarian. What the hell I gotta do with this?" So that I had a lot of problems. I had a lot of arguments. Why I don't want to kill anymore? Why I don't want to eat them? Like they taught me like crazy.
What did you say? And what did they say?
The same argument that basically I have less developed than my vocabulary, not my expression needs, so not the best ones at that time. Not very deep. I know what I feel, so I could just fight with them, and that is my huge mistake. But this is how I defend myself, defend what I felt. I fight that I don't want to eat animal because I saw what I saw, and they didn't stand. Of course, you are weak, you are a crybaby, you are this, you are that, you are probably want to be some religious crazy guy. You're reading. I know you're reading the Buddhist books, and it was quite hard with them. So many vegans in the Serbia and Bosnia. They had this issue, still having a lot of them this issue, so I kind of feel them.
But you have been vegetarian for a long time, and you're vegan since 2016.
16. I started
What
with
happened?
2016. On my birthday, I have birthday on 1st November.
Okay.
And 1st November, vegans have this action in the town that they present also dead animals, like how to say, like holiday that we are. This is 1st November, actually a holiday for the dead people, like remembering the dead people, remembering the loved ones, and they have the action. Remember also the animals that we love, animals that we killed for our food choices. And I went back then in the walk on my birthday on the town with my ex-girlfriend back then and friends, and I stopped next to the this stand, and I thought, oh, I'm on your side, I'm a vegetarian, I don't even have meat eat already for 11 years. And the girl like, fine, and she gave me some paper. She said to me, well, did you consider to go one step further? And like what that mean? Like it's just explain me that animal products are also violent, and that we consider them like as slaves for us, using them. We took their freedom, we took their how to say, honesty, dignity, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I never considered that. And on the way home, I've been pondering this. Like, I have more things to think about, and I never thought about that. Like, it's normal to eat cheese, meat, cheese. I need in text anyway, but cheese, milk products, honey, and stuff. I can easily think about violence because we had chickens home. There's happy chickens, so people lie, freedom. No, they are slave. We are part of this history of chicken. We raise them to have eggs once in the day or once or 2 days, but it's truly not normal, not natural. We changed them, made them our slave, destroyed their body, put them like machines, and then cheese, like the milk is horrible industry, really terrific industry. And I think it took only like a month or something that I shift to veganism, like that. On the way home, I would decide to be vegan, but it took me some time fight with my friends, fight with all. I'm not vegan. Oh my God, you're one of them. And
Again, social pressure, huh?
yes, vegetarians, we hate vegans. Yeah. So quite, seeing this is why one of the reasons why I become activist. This is how I change my opinion. This is how I shift. I just needed the information. Many people just need the information. Many people are sleeping. They don't question nothing. They just live their life because it's normal. You don't have information. You have so much marketing, happy meat and stuff. You just see the end product. They don't have information. If you talk with empathy with people, you can easily connect with the even more violent person who approaches. You can easily connect with them. You can easily break the walls. You can easily connect with. If you just don't go into philosophy, you can easily end up with some philosophy. But if you go around the philosophy, you speak about empathy a lot. Speak about looking in the eyes animal. Many braves say, "Oh, I can kill animals. I can slaughter animals." Well, I'm really truly honest, and even if you think like that, why you want to do that? So, but you want to become a man, or you want to be a hunter, you want to be survival. So you really can talk a lot about this. So there is a lot of choices, and this is why I'm activist, because I just need information. You find out some few people standing in the middle of town. This is how much I need it. This is why I really like activism in any form. Many people don't need to see us.
You see, since you're someone with a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge with this other side that we usually don't see, we don't know. Even I can say this for myself. Even though my father had a fish store and I was born in a farm and everything, I didn't see slaughterhouses. I didn't see what happened. I didn't feel like what you felt before and so on. But also you are studying for psychotherapists, and I wonder, because now you're animal rights activists, what is the best way to talk to people? How to convince them? How to show this, what you learned or what you experienced, to them? What to do to get them on the right side of the history?
If you go direct approach, it is best to talk about values, their humane part of themselves, and kind of wake this part up. You talk about really how they feel, and you kind of show them even some footage. Regarding the activism, coming to the people, if you have a cube, still you talk a lot about values. You have one most of the time, or even if you have 3 person, you really focus on one person. Otherwise, not including. It's a golden rule. But also the good approach. I really also like what Anya does. How she connect to the public. We think that we offend someone if we do certain things, but people need to be shocked. The truth is never, in my practice, like what I have now, the truth is always like happen only when we're shocked, only when we see the problem. The golden rule in psychotherapy is like you don't help them if they don't see the problem. So basically, first thing that you have to do, help them to see where's the problem. So if they see what is the problem, you can help them. And one of the things how you see the problem, offer them informations. If you do one-to-one, now you talk about values. You talk about how they love animals. Talk about humane part of themselves, like all they have. When we speak, more broad audience, when we try to connect, we speak, we're trying to shock them, try to see the problem. But how are we going to do it? This is also a good documentary, Science of Change. That this is how the slavery break. How do we start with some women rights? How we start with any rights? I think that we need to shock people. We need to see why this is a problem, and why then people alone think, oh, this needs to be changed. They find a way. They start thinking about, where's the tofu? Like my mother, she looked only 2 shops in her town had a hummus. But she found it, because she liked the bread spread, like pasteta, pate. and it was she found the house. I know where she now. She bought me like 2 days ago. I already finished it. So I think, from my point of view, we need to shock the people, see the problem in the personal connection. We have to talk about values, their empathy, and then think go natural from there. I know I'm for aggressive approach, and always I know we have to go slowly, but I'm for aggressive approach to help people to see the problem, to shock them, and this is my point of view. Also, there are good in soul approaches and everything, but there are many weak sides of that. People consider veganism like some social group, and so anyway, this is.
I think I agree with you big time, because we need shock, to get attention of people and to show the problem, and even if they don't like you and so on, they know the problem is there, they're talking about it. But then as well, we need other forms of activism, because we don't really know what works and what doesn't work, right? Because also, if you see something, if you're shocked, if you see completely what happens, you don't want to see, and even if you see, you try to convince yourself this is okay because of some reason, or this is not okay because it's happening somewhere else, and whatever, you find the way that you see what you want to see. But the point is that we need all kinds of activism, right? Which means that you need also this inspirational activism. Let's say these speeches that you see online, for example, Gary Rowski's speech or whatever. You also can be a really amazing recipe producer, or how can I say this better? Let's say a cook, very good cook that you show people how to eat, how to prepare food, and so on. You can also do some music. You can be an artist. You can do whatever you want. Because the point is, at the end of the day, that whatever you can do is okay, because you're gonna speak to someone who already has some points in a way with these other forms of activism, and you never know what push him through. And here's my next question: what is your goal with activism, or why are you activist at all? You could be just vegan now, you wouldn't harm animals, but why are you active?
For my special, I mean, let's say I have a few reasons. Let's say the easiest one that I like to answer is I want to be a part of change. That's simple like that.
Okay.
And I see that I can offer people something that they can change their mind. Let's say I see the problem. I see that it's not okay to eat animals, and I choose to be a part of the change. I know how terrible I felt eating meat and being part of that, and I know how terrible that is. So, hey, I want to be a part of a change. Second thing, that I'm able to do it. I have free time. I can simply be present somewhere that I can be needed. I can see the things that doesn't happen to be happen. And I see value. I see myself valuable there. I feel good about myself also there, and also connected with one of the reasons why I connected with a lot of vegans. I start building some connections, and I met you guys on that way, and that's really good friendship. Then I also last thing that I'll never talk about, but it is, like I said to you first time, Matej, when we spoke about these ideas, why being vegan is really this moment when I kill these small lambs that I grow up with, that I raised. Kind of feel like all these animals that I killed, especially them, I owe them. I've really punched myself strongly there. Why being, I did horrible thing there, and I punched myself for a long time. I even suppressed that part, and it took me a long time to come back and to face it, that guilt of me being a monster there. And kind of with my life offering to the other animals and raising the conscience there, change the world to a better place in my sense. I think the life made a purpose. They didn't die in vain. They really changed me, helped me to see there's a life in them. Yeah.
One thing I would like to add before Anya is continuing is that you said that you need to do something because you owe this to animals, right? Because you were a monster. And I would just like to point out something, that if you kill someone, or if you order someone else to kill someone else, who is bigger or smaller monster?
Second-hand killing.
Exactly, which is happening every day to 99% of people, even more.
Well, that's called also psychology, the second-hand evil. They said that's behind the motivation. So if you order anything, you have really strong. You have to accept the responsibility of that. And I'm speaking about emotional responsibility. And you did that. You are in the chain. So you have to understand being a part of that. Sometimes people tell me this argument, and actually quite a lot of this. I will not change anything if I become a vegan. Everything gonna be the same. Okay, but what if you just choose not to be part of that? What if you choose to just don't be part of that evil?
Just don't pay anyone to murder animals. Just don't pay anyone to explore them.
Simple like that. You just don't be a part of that. You don't need to. Actually, I sometimes say, okay, don't you help me here? I don't want you to do anything. But if you really see that like an evil, and I use this word because I believe this is barbaric evil in every sense. If you see this evil, just don't be a part of that. Simple like that. If you can't see it, don't be a part of that.
The problem is, I think that people are so disconnected from the truth, or it's so much easier to give the responsibility to someone else, that they just continue and they make it easy for themselves. We have like 25 minutes from here, the biggest slaughterhouse in Switzerland. And I went quite often to demonstrations in front of it. And there were so many people driving by the slaughterhouse, showing the middle finger to the slaughterhouse worker. And when we asked them, they were like, yeah, I hate this place and these poor babies. And when we asked them, but are you vegan? No, but no, I mean, it's not my fault if they kill them that way. But, so it's so easier to point with the finger on the butchers who have, as you said as well, reasons like social pressure, family to feed, which is not an excuse, but then to change yourself. No.
Well, the chain is that's end of the chain. So very hard to immediately bring people to end of the chain, like slaughterhouse. No, I'm not there. I'm doing nothing. I buy my meat pretty far away, like McDonald's. There's nothing happening. I don't have any connection there. I'm innocent. So this is the beginning of a chain. So usually I start with the first chain, food that eating, how they feel, who they think they are, and where this comes from. You really have to. There's a lot of work before you come to that point. But this is a good symptom. If they're showing the middle finger, there, I think they are good. Have good symptoms. Some future vegans. But I will usually start with why do you hate slaughterhouse? What do you have? What thing happening there? You hate. If I start the end of the chain, maybe in that sense, so they start hating, and then when you come to their food. Okay, when you see your food, what you see there? So I will not ask them how they're part of that. Oh, they will figure it by themselves. Most of them figure it by themselves. It's in the psychotherapy never help people. You see a lot of problems. You learn to see the patterns, but you don't show the patterns. You don't speak about them, but you help them to see. And when they see, they heal themselves. They help them. They hear. They need to hear their own answers. They need to heal themselves. They need to hear their empathy. They need to hear that they are sorry that it's happening. They don't want the blood. They have to see that I'm not into this. I don't want. And see, then you start with from that point. So if you don't like that, so what you can do differently? Or I can stop eating meat, or can eat less meat. Okay. So start telling them that they can start. If I give them idea what they can change their life, and I give them the cards sometimes, or give them references what they can see, what they can do in their life to start knowing. This is the end of the conversation. I usually giving a card, giving them a reference, or telling them, asking them, so just please think what you can do differently in your life, and please just be informed. Make your conscious decision that you want to change this. If it doesn't align with your values, what you see here is, you don't become cold. Don't forget us. Don't forget this is happening. So kind of that sense.
Dragoljub, for us, it's very clear now what this change is, but can you say it one time very clear? What should a person change if they're against this slaughtering, if they feel sad when they see these animals dying there? What should they do?
Many things, basically. I mean, in a short sense, just stop buying animal products. Anything that connect with animals, just stop it. Just don't be part of it. Just ignore this world. Live a peaceful life. Live a clean life. Start living life that there is no any suffering behind. So the first step, really stop doing that. If you choose, sometimes if you choose to stop doing this tomorrow, what you can change? I ask them, and the people really, they come with their own answers. They start turning themselves vegan. They start thinking, okay, I can buy soya. They start taking these traditional ideas about the food, but they start buying all this soy in the mind, tofu, eating a lot more salad. The change is easy I always say change is easy if you just think about the animal behind your choices. So if you understand the pain behind the suffering that you're causing by your choice, it's easy. You just need to stop, and they stop when they see that, not before.
And let's just talk now at the end a bit about the big picture, which means that when we're talking about like going vegan, which we're talking about now, right? Just stop supporting this violent industry. Don't pay for meat, don't pay for milk, don't pay for honey, don't pay for eggs. This is pretty much it. All the rest you can eat, basically. But the point is, one thing is to not be part of this industry and not to support it. But another thing is, if you want to see a change in the world, then we need to do something else. And that's why we are active. And I would like to just point this out to people, because one thing is not to be part of it. But when you see that this is so fucking wrong, like racism or sexism or other forms of oppression, then it's not good enough just say, okay, I'm not part of it, I'm not going to do anything about it, but I'm going to do something about it, and just start speaking for the animals in which form you want. Join a group, do something, start talking to your friends. What would you suggest to people, Drago, in this way, what they can do to really do something for the animals, not just not supporting the industry of violence, but also to do something for animals in the end?
Most of the people that, so we're speaking about the people who already decide to be vegan. Well, I definitely agree that it's not enough just to be silent, or not enough to just care about your life. You need a strong personality to fight against the old world. It is hard. You need communication skills. You need strong confidence to fight for your point of views. You need vocabulary for, expressing yourself. So this is quite complex. But people, even when they're not capable, they do it. They already. This is by default mode. When they see it, first reaction, my God, I have to tell everyone. I just need to stop people. They fight all the time. Many vegans become alone because of that, isolated, because they are really, pain in the ass when come to the public dinners, hanging out with the food, no pizza, we don't go pizza. He dog eat pizza. I have this very often. I eat, or they order something. They say, "I'm sorry that I'm ordering this." I get that a lot. So you need not enough, it's enough, but it's gradual, I guess. I always call people. I always ask them, be active. In that sense, Facebook is not, if you don't know how to do it, but maybe not the best way. Still, in one way, why not? But be part of the change, I guess. It is not so hard. You will have meet many people, and but many people come on the one happening, one event, it becomes stronger. You become more convinced. I'm not weirdo, I'm not crazy here. There's many more people there that believe in this. They saw the same thing like I. So yeah, it's not enough, but still this is dependable of the personality and the development there.
Maybe
Not easy.
Sorry. I would just like to add something. Maybe right at the beginning you said, you need communication skills, and it's very difficult. And of course it's difficult because the suffering behind. But I would just like to point out that even for people who are very introvert, there are ways like creating a website if you know how to. Or I'm so happy that I have people who send out the media letters when I do my action, so I don't need to think about that. So there are ways to not be on the front, but to do so much by helping others. Edit videos for people. So whatever skills you have, there are ways to make change happen with your skills and with what you like to create. No, so
I mean, this is the point. Some people are really scared about exposing themselves. They don't understand them. I've been through. I lost basically all my family there because of that. Me becoming vegan. I was truly alone there, and I truly understand the pain, and they make the need for courage to expose themselves like a vegan. So I understand, and I also I understand you, but this is what also need to be done. Yeah, background. There's many background work that can be done. Oh, many. They can even share your videos. Just doing that. But doing that, many feel that I'm exposing myself, and they have this defending story that everyone has his own choice, but is obviously not true if your choice have victim. So I agree on both ways, kinda. You have to be active, and understand your pain there. Understand that you have to fight. So yeah.
Well, what I'm concerned, I think we discuss few very important topics, and I think it's a gold conversation to send to anyone that is not vegan yet or not active yet. So I would suggest actually that, Drago, you maybe prepared the end thought that you can say to people who are watching, And since I know we didn't agree this before, but since I know Anya that she's very good with words, maybe you could conclude this conversation.
Thank you for throwing me into the water.
That's how we do it.
No, so basically, this was for me one of the most emotional talks since a long time. So Drago, he grew up in a farm. He started, he had amazing relationship with the animals, played with them, cuddled with them, like saw them as kids, friends. And when he was 14 years old, he should kill the first animal himself because his father, mom weren't able to do so. And so he wanted to be man enough and did something that went strongly against his nature and threw that lamb that he played with to the ground and killed him or her forcefully, which changed him inside or made him suppress his feelings. No, and yeah, he went through a quite painful time and told us a lot about how animals are butchered, that there is no humane way of killing someone who doesn't want to die. No matter if these animals have lived happily or not happily, it's always violence. And Dragoljub became a vegan, or first he stopped butchering when he connected again with these animals and he could let go out what was deep inside of him and the empathy. And after street action in Slovenia, he became a vegan and now a very strong voice for the animals. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful for this talk because it was so emotional to hear this from someone who is on the front, saying, that animals deserve to live and what they go through. So thank you so much for this talk. What's your conclusion? What would you like to share before we end this talk?
Well, I know for all people who want to comment this, want to, they're considering this is maybe craziness or something wrong with this idea of not eating meat. Because someone really been there on the front line, killing animals. I just ask you to think about life behind. Think about eyes of the animal that is behind your food, and from that point you choose what you have to choose. Even with eating meat, you still think about this. I think this is a good start to start to think about how you're gonna comment and how you're gonna think about veganism. That we don't do anything abstract or anything here. That we really are ones to just trying to see at least what is the value of one life, and that recognize there is another choices that can be done.
Drago, hvala. Thank you for these words. Really, thank you for your activism, for your energy, for your experiences, and everything you are. I think you're an amazing example of bad and good, which we all are in some form. And it's amazing how person can transform even from this kind of violent past. So thanks to everyone for watching this. Like our channel, subscribe it, and get more content like this. And don't forget, go vegan and go active. Be active, speak for the truth, speak for the animals, and do what is necessary to be done. Ciao.